Live with a forewarned weather alert. This is News 4 at 4.
The winter storm is here all across the mid-state. We are seeing ice covered by snow. Right now, winter weather is wreaking havoc on roads all across our area. News 4 crews are across the mid-state giving you a glimpse of the conditions we are facing at this hour. Good afternoon, everyone. Already, we have seen multiple accidents. This is a live look at I-65, where it meets I-64 there. Two semi-trucks jackknifed right here, I-24, of course, around 1:30 this afternoon. So take a good look here. This is what's so scary about these conditions. Several vehicles were involved in this accident. The interstate is expected to be shut down for quite a while. One of many wrecks News 4 Carly Gordon has been seeing and monitoring for us on the interstate. So Carly, let's begin with you. Can you tell us more about some of the crashes we have seen today?
Sure, Tracy. I'm standing on a bridge over I-65 near North Nashville. I'll show you the conditions right now. You can see the roads are slick. The snow starting to accumulate. Already we have seen several crashes, including three big ones to tell you about. One involving two jackknife trucks on I-65 near I-24, an injury accident on I-40 near Stewart's Ferry, and a third on I-65 near Ellington. We'll have the breakdown on each crash, and we'll tell you what the three have in common coming up on News 4 at 4:30. In the meantime, be careful out there. Reporting live in North Nashville, I'm Carly Gordon, News 4.
Carly Gordon, thank you so much. And now many of you stayed home today. We do know that. Now is the time that those who did go to work will be heading home. We are out on the roads checking things out for you. You can see just how empty it is out there as folks have heeded the warning, staying off of these roads. We're going to let you know about any icy conditions you need to look out for. Right now, let's go to Melanie, who's in our traffic center here with not a pretty picture behind you, Melanie.
Yeah, not at all. The roads are really starting to deteriorate now. So if you were on them earlier, we had wet roads starting to get a little bit icy. Now we have a full-on mess out there. This is a live look over I-40 right around Central Pike. You can see a lot of backup here, all because of a crash just ahead of it. Looks like they're messing with the cameras right here behind the scenes, but we do have a big crash that I was going to show you over there on I-65 from the north side of town. We'll get a live picture of that coming up in just a little bit. First, take a look at your road conditions. You can see here on the map, this is the weather compared to where the interstates are. A lot of snow and ice out there on the roadways right now. You can see a lot of stop and go traffic here on the north side of town. We also have several portions of interstates closed to traffic right now. So let's head through those at the moment. We do have I-65 northbound, a jackknife tractor trailer up near the Millersville area. Also 65 southbound completely closed right now, right before you get to the Millersville area. You can see that highlighted there in purple. And up near the Tennessee-Kentucky state line, we've got backup all the way across that border for another jackknife tractor trailer at I-65 southbound. That is right between Nashville Road and Highway 52. We'll have more looks at other wrecks on the roads when I come back in a little bit, but for now I'm going to toss it over to Lisa and Daphne in the Forewarned Weather Center.
Well, we watched the snow starting to fall early this morning, and it's just continued to spread across the mid-state.
That's exactly right. Every kind of precipitation from the rain-snow mix, ice, sleet, all of that, up to 6.5 inches of snow accumulation for our western counties in Paris. So we're still seeing the snow in the same places. Lisa, I'll let you show them where the snow is.
Well, now finally we're seeing it in Nashville all the way over to Mount Juliet into Madison. The snow is coming down. Hopefully not too many people are having to head home today. They were able to stay home, but it is really treacherous as the snow continues to fall, and for some instances on top of a bed of ice that was already there. So we've got snow that extends all the way back to the northwest corner, and what Daphne was telling you, this is where we've had some of the bigger totals. That's 6.5 inches right there around Paris. Murray, Kentucky also getting at least 4 inches of snow already, a couple of inches in Waverly, and right on up into Dover, where we have had at least 1.5 inches, and the snow continues to fall in these locations. Anything, of course, that's falling at this point is frozen precipitation, as we are looking at temperatures that are drastically colder than they were this time yesterday. 20 degrees in Paris. It's 23 right now in Nashville, 29 over in Cookeville, the area that was the last to get the cold air, but you too are seeing that now. And as far as more of this moisture moving your way, well, we do have a backside to this system that will be circulating through, but notice some drier areas right through here. That's going to impact who sees snow from here on out. I'll have the timeline on that coming up with our Forewarned update.
Lisa, thanks so much. Well, roads have gotten much worse in parts of West Nashville over the past 90 minutes. We want to go now to News 4's Kevin Traeger. Kevin, show us the conditions there now.
Hey, Tracy, good afternoon. I'm along White Bridge Road here, just above I-40. You take a look at this overpass. This are the areas that are causing the most concern right now. Wind and snow really picking up, and it's starting to accumulate as the temperatures drop. We saw a big crash here about an hour ago. 4 vehicles involved. Take a look at the video. We talked to the owner, the driver of that Dodge Charger, who said she just couldn't stop. The ice she started sliding and crashed back right into the back of another car. That caused 2 other vehicles to crash into each other. We spoke with one of those drivers earlier.
We weren't going fast at all. We were just leaving work and we were going to follow each other home and try to make it safe. And I mean, you don't really see it, but clearly there's patches of ice out here that's very dangerous. So people be careful.
And you heard Melanie mention there some issues along Central Pike, the overpass of I-40 in Mount Juliet. I just saw a tweet from Mount Juliet Police that said that overpass is solid ice right now. I imagine many of the other bridges and overpasses along the interstates and the midstate are seeing the exact same conditions. So if you have to be out driving, be extremely careful right now. Give yourself plenty of space between you and the other vehicles around you. Reporting live in West Nashville, Kevin Traeger, News 4.
And I'm Kim St. Ange live at the TDOT Salt Barn here in Nashville, and I'm telling you, this place has been very busy. Since about 4 o'clock this morning, these plows, these salt trucks are lining up to get more salt. And look at this. Look at all the snow here. So they've got the salt trying to pre-treat the roads right now, make them less slick. And then on top of that, they've got these plows trying to clear this snow. But as you can see, it's still coming down pretty hard here in Nashville. So that is what they are up against. But I want to show you what the scene has been like here at this salt barn throughout the morning. Again, since 4 o'clock this morning, dozens of trucks have been making rounds here, filling up the back with up to 10 tons of salt every single time. These trucks making several trips back and forth, hitting all those interstates and those heavily traveled roads, making sure they're as safe as possible. If you're one of the folks who's going to be heading out the door, TDOT, of course, was hoping to get as much salt on the roads before the snow hit. And officials are warning people, you hear it all the time, but it's important to mention, just stay home and off the roads if you can. Conditions are getting worse. Well, the problem is that's just not even an option for some people. I met a truck driver who was on his way to Maine today. He says if he doesn't brave these conditions, he doesn't get paid.
It really limits you as to, whether you can, when you can drive and when you can't drive. Because, at night, you definitely don't want to be stuck out in this weather at night driving because, then you can't even see the ice.
Yeah, and that's the scariest part, that black ice that you might not even see and can be so scary, and all of a sudden you're sliding. I just got off the phone minutes ago with TDOT officials. I have an update for you. They're telling me they've hit all the main interstates and those heavily traveled roads like Briley Parkway at least once, working on the secondaries, and then, of course, they're going to go back and make a second and third round as the snow continues accumulating. Live in Nashville, Kim St. Ange, News 4.
A lot of families here in the Hendersonville area have been coming over here to the Strike and Spare. It's a place that is just keeping them out of all these conditions that we're in right now. You can see the snow coming down. It's been like this for a few minutes now, but the ice has been here for a while. You can see it on this branch right here, just how thick it's getting in some areas. And keeping in mind, a lot of that is on the roads right now. While we are on the drive over here to Hendersonville, we're going over a bridge. Our car did start sliding a little bit, so that's just a reminder that you've got to be very, very careful driving in all of this. We're about to head inside with everybody else. You're in Hendersonville. I'm Forrest Sanders, News 4.
Forrest, thank you so much. We've been collecting all of the pictures you've been sending in to us today. We want to show you a few. I want to show you first a picture of Colton Hayes. Here's this little guy. His mother, Allison, sent in this picture of him playing in the snow. Such a fun part of all of this weather. And check this out. It'll be hard to find a more photogenic bird, you think? The red bird was sent in to us by Dawn Brooks up in Hopkinsville, and she also sent us this one. I'm going to give you another one from her, which, of course, we certainly appreciate. Will not be outdone by these two. Dawn sending this in. It turns out wildlife does not mind the snow that much. She's clearly an excellent photographer as well. Finally, this photo sent in by Kristen Kohenor out in Clarksville. This little dog staring out into what is normally a green yard. The snow and cold. Make sure you take the extra precautions to keep little guys like this warm. We also want to love showing you the pictures that you send in to us. So send us your pics at WSMV.com. Let's go over to Lisa and Daphne now for our important news here, the weather itself.
Oh, no doubt. And you notice all of those accidents, and most of those are on bridges and overpasses.
That's exactly right. So we want to take this full and show you what exactly happens when that sub-freezing air goes not only below but above the bridge. That completely just freezes it over. So that is the most likely place to get these problem roads, these accidents, and that's exactly what we've been seeing all day today. Lisa?
So now the timing on this system, are we going to continue to see this snow? Well, we look here at our Futurecast model, and here is the snow. Remember I mentioned there was a drier area in here? That's why we'll see it tapering off fairly quickly this evening as it continues to move towards the northeast, up towards the Cumberland Plateau. So that's why some folks up here will still get some of that snowfall. And then by tomorrow morning, we are looking at a very cold start to the day. Now we'll talk about how much more snow we could see and how cold it will be for the weekend just ahead.
Lisa, thanks. All right, let's check forewarned traffic right now as you're heading out the door. This is what it's looking like on I-65 out in the Millersville area. Treacherous roads out there. I-65 completely closed off to traffic right now at the moment. Let's take a look at our traffic map. I want to show you a lot of accidents we have out there. I-65 on the north side of town and even close up toward the Kentucky state line. Very dangerous to be on at the moment. I-65 northbound, we do have a jackknife trailer there right before you get to Highway 76. That one's causing us a big backup there in the northbound lanes. But the southbound lanes, here's the real problem. I just showed you a live shot there, completely closed. That's the southbound lanes right as you're heading in toward Millersville. Up toward the Kentucky state line, I-65 southbound between Nashville Road and Highway 52. We have a jackknife trailer there too. Down in Murfreesboro, we have the road closed here on I-840. That's in the westbound lanes between Broad Street and I-24. That's a very heavily traveled area. You'll have to take Broad Street back down to 96. Back here in Nashville near the airport in the Hermitage area, I-40 westbound at Stewart's Ferry Pike and I-40 eastbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. Both of those lanes completely blocked to traffic. That's what's happening on the roads. Tracy, back to you.
Melanie Layden, thanks so much. Be sure to download our Forewarned Weather app to stay weather aware. We have the only live Forewarned Doppler radar in town. That means you can find out when and where the weather will hit your area about 5 minutes faster.
And I'm Joe Dubin in Providence, Rhode Island at the Titans team hotel. The Titans are supposed to be here about an hour ago, but they have not yet arrived. We'll tell you what the holdup is coming up next.
Thank you, Joe. And while folks are having troubles on the road, they're also having trouble at the airport all around. Coming up, the scary incident that caused folks to be evacuated from a plane. And here we are, Mobile 4, driving on I-65, headed into Robertson County. You can see the conditions out there. The snow falling, lots and lots of icy patches, as we've learned, especially on those bridges and overpasses. Be careful. We'll be right back with our continuing coverage after this.